Welcome to this deep dive. We're taking a look today at Nouranios. They're an IT agency, and their whole thing is turning innovative ideas into, well, digital solutions.
Right, digital tools, applications, that sort of thing. We've got some material from them, service details, tech info, even some blog posts.
Exactly. So the mission today is to unpack what Nouranios actually does and, how they help businesses use technology effectively.
And how they use things like automation and AI, too, which they mentioned, sort of figuring out the practical benefits for their clients.
Okay, let's start with their main services. It's quite a list. First up is web development.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like basic websites. They talk about creating functional, good-looking platforms with modern tech.
Yeah, and they seem to highlight responsive design.
Right. Responsive design. So basically the website adapts, doesn't it? Looks good on a big screen, looks good on a phone.
Automatically adjusts, which is, well, essential now.
Totally. And they seem focused on the user experience across the board.
Which makes sense. If a site's a pain to use on your phone, you're gone, right?
Instantly.
And the fact they do simple sites and complex web apps, that shows some range.
Definitely. Then there's e-commerce. Building online stores.
Using platforms people know, like Magento, PrestaShop.
WordPress, WooCommerce, Shopify, the usual suspect.
Yeah. And here they stress performance, speed, basically, and security.
And user experience again, making it easy to actually buy stuff.
Well, yeah. For online stores, speed is money. A slow site loses sales.
True.
And security. Well, that's just table stakes now with customer data.
Absolutely.
So offering multiple platforms means they can pick the right tool for the job, whether it's a small shop or a bigger operation.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on. Mobile development. Apps for iPhones, apps for Android.
Using the latest tech again, ensuring they're responsive, easy to use.
And they mentioned different types of apps. Native, cross-platform, progressive web apps.
Right. So native is built just for iOS or just for Android. Cross-platform tries to work on both.
And progressive web apps are like websites behaving like apps.
Kind of, yeah. They offer different trade-offs in terms of performance, reach, cost. Having options is good for clients.
You'd think so. I mean, everyone's on their phone, and app seems almost necessary sometimes.
For many businesses, is how they directly connect with people. Offering different ways to build that app lets them find the right fit.
Okay. And one more core service. Desktop applications.
Good old desktop software.
Yeah. For Windows, Mac OS, Linux, custom stuff for specific business needs.
Like inventory management or maybe bigger company-wide systems.
Exactly.
It's easy to forget about desktop with all the talk about web and mobile, but, lots of businesses still rely heavily on it internally.
True.
So covering all those bases, web, mobile, desktop shows, they've got a pretty comprehensive view of what businesses might need.
Yeah, it's a wide net. Okay, so that's what they do. What about the how? The technology stack?
Right, the tools they actually use. The nuts and bolts.
For PHP, the back-end stuff for websites, they use frameworks like Symfony and Laravel.
Those are big ones. Frameworks basically give developers a head start, right? Pre-built components, structure.
Makes building complex things faster and more reliable, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Speeds things up, helps keep code consistent, secure. Laravel's popular. Symfony, often used for bigger, maybe more complex projects, shows flexibility.
And for the front end, what the user actually sees and interacts with.
JavaScript and TypeScript are key there. They mention frameworks like React, vue.js.
Angular, Svelte too, lots of options.
Yeah, those help build those dynamic, interactive interfaces we expect now. Makes websites feel more like apps sometimes.
React is huge, isn't it? For single-page applications and stuff.
Very popular. Knowing several of these front-end frameworks gives them choices depending on the project's specific demands.
Okay. What about those desktop apps we mentioned?
For those, they list node.js with Electron.
Which lets you build desktop apps using web tech, right?
Exactly. Cross-platform potential there. And also C# often for Windows apps and Java, known for being portable.
So again, different tools for different situations.
Solid choices for desktop development, yeah.
And content management, making it easy for clients to update their own websites.
They mention the big ones: WordPress, Drupal, Joomla.
WordPress powers a huge chunk of the web, so that's almost a must-have skill.
Definitely. And Drupal is known for more complex sites, maybe with more sophisticated content needs. Again, adaptability.
Gotcha. And beyond PHP for the back end, they also use Node.js.
Yeah, with frameworks like Express and Nest.js.
Node.js is known for being fast and efficient. especially for things needing real-time communication.
That's the idea. Great for building APIs, scalable network apps. Express is a very common framework for that.
Okay. And mobile app frameworks.
Flutter and React Native are mentioned.
Ah, the cross-platform ones. Write once, run on both iOS and Android, potentially.
That's the promise. It can save time and money, but you need the expertise to make it feel right on both platforms.
Right, it's not always perfectly seamless.
Takes skill to optimize it.
And finally, databases and search, where all the information lives.
A whole range here. MySQL, PostgreSQL, those are traditional relational databases.
Uh-huh.
Then MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database, more flexible in some ways. Firebase too.
And specialized search tools. Elasticsearch, Algolia.
Yeah, those are designed specifically for really fast, relevant searching through lots of data, like for e-commerce product search.
Wow. Okay. So from databases to front-end frameworks to mobile tools. It's a very broad tech stack.
It really is. It suggests they can handle a lot of different technical requirements and choose the best tools for a specific client's needs, rather than being locked into just one way of doing things.
Right. So we know the services, we know the tech. How do they actually run a project? They outline a 4-step process.
Okay.
Step 1 is discovery.
Makes sense. You got to understand the problem first.
Exactly. They say they dig into the client's goals, do research, define the scope, figure out what needs to be built and why.
That's crucial. Skipping this step or rushing it, that's how projects go wrong later. You need to agree on the why before the what.
Totally. Step 2 is design.
Focusing on the user.
Yeah, creating intuitive interfaces, thinking about user experience or UX, and they build prototypes.
Ah, like mock-ups or early versions?
I think so.
Yeah.
To get feedback before they start coding everything.
Smart. Lets the client see it, react to it, catch usability issues early. Saves a lot of hassle down the line. A user-focused approach.
Then step 3, development.
Where the coding happens. Bringing the designs to life.
Using that big tech stack we talked about. And they mention rigorous testing.
Good. Testing is key. Finding bugs, making sure it's secure, making sure it actually works reliably.
Yeah, quality assurance. Can't skimp on that.
Definitely not. It avoids headaches later.
And the final step, step 4, is deployment.
Getting it out there. Launching it.
And importantly, providing ongoing support and maintenance afterwards.
That's often overlooked, but vital. Tech changes, security threats pop up, businesses need updates. That long-term partnership matters.
Yeah, it's not just build it and forget it.
Hopefully not, no.
Now, something they highlight is using automation and artificial intelligence, AI.
Ah, okay. How do they fit that in?
They say they use it to streamline tasks, cut down on errors, optimize workflows, basically make things more efficient and enable smarter decisions.
That's becoming a big differentiator for businesses, isn't it? Using AI and automation effectively.
Seems like it. They give examples like automating customer interactions, maybe chatbots.
Could be. Or automating internal processes, AI for predictive analytics, maybe forecasting trends from data.
Yeah. And intelligent process automation. The benefits they list are, saving time, cutting costs, scaling up easier.
Those are tangible wins. Automating repetitive stuff frees up people for more complex work. AI insights can really guide strategy.
Right. So it's not just about building standard apps. They're trying to build smarter solutions.
That seems to be the angle, yeah. Leveraging these newer technologies.
They have a portfolio section, but we just have the project names mentioned in our source here. Things like e-collector, shopping center, task monitoring, WR security.
Okay. Not much detail, but the names suggest different kinds of applications, maybe different industries.
Yeah, shopping center sounds like e-commerce or retail. Task monitoring, maybe internal business software. WR security could be anything security related.
It suggests diversity in their work, at least, not just doing the same thing over and over. They've likely tackled varied challenges.
We can also pull some insights from their blog. They have a few posts we looked at. One asks why your business needs a custom mobile app.
Okay, what's their take?
They emphasize accessibility, convenience for customers, and providing unique value or features you couldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, a custom app can offer a much richer, more direct connection than just a mobile website. Things like push notifications using phone features.
Right. Another post is about choosing an e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
Compares PrestaShop, WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify.
That's a common question for businesses going online.
Yeah, and they apparently break down the pros and cons of each, helping businesses figure out which one fits their specific needs, size, complexity.
That's useful guidance. It's a big decision with long-term consequences choosing that platform.
Definitely. And the third post talks about picking the right technology stack for your project.
Back to the tech choices. Why is that important according to them?
They link it to performance, scalability, meaning how well it can grow, and maintainability, how easy it is to update or fix later.
All critical
Yeah.
factors. The underlying tech really is the foundation. Making the wrong choice early on can cause major problems.
So they highlight key factors to consider when making that tech stack decision. Shows they think about architecture, not just coding.
Which is a good sign, strategic thinking about the technology itself.
And finally, throughout the materials, they talk about their commitment to quality.
How do they back that up?
Through best practices in development, that rigorous testing we mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and also emphasizing that post-launch support, security patches, feature updates, ongoing maintenance.
Right, that long-term view again. It suggests they're interested in the client's ongoing success, not just the initial sale, building partnerships.
Yeah, that seems to be the vibe. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What are the key takeaways about Nouranios?
Well, they definitely seem versatile, wide range of services, web, mobile, desktop, e-commerce.
And a really broad technology expertise to back that up. They're not a one-trick pony tech-wise.
No, definitely not. Their process seems structured, starting with that crucial discovery phase, focusing on the user and design.
Right, the 4 steps: discovery, design, development, deployment.
And there's that forward-looking emphasis on using automation and AI to add extra value, make things smarter.
So versatility, deep tech knowledge, client-focused process, and an eye on innovation.
That sums it up pretty well, I think. Their goal seems to be translating those initial ideas into robust, effective digital tools that actually help businesses succeed.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? If you're listening, maybe consider your own business or project. What digital challenges are you facing? Or what opportunities could technology unlock?
Yeah, could a custom solution, maybe one using some of this automation or AI stuff, really change the game for you?
Something to ponder. How could a tailored digital approach, maybe drawing on some of these technologies, make a real difference in your specific context? Definitely food for thought.